Every now and then, an early build pops up that hits all the right nostalgic buttons. Second Stone, the legend of the hidden world, takes that classic Jak and Daxter energy, blends it with an action RPG depth that makes Final Fantasy VII fans grin, and lets you customize almost everything. Hey folks, Dove here, and today we're going to take a peek at Second Stone, the legend of the hidden world. And just up front, let's make things clear, this is a work in progress here, an early build, and let's take everything we see with a grain of salt, but even what we see here is pretty amazing, so let's just get right to it. This title immediately taps right into that peak mascot platformer energy, just with its vibrant, lush, and nostalgic backgrounds and world that you live in. It makes it feel like you're going back in time, but still with that high fidelity. Now, even early on, Second Stone has a lot of diverse biomes. In this build alone, it just feels like each different area that you travel to kind of has its own thing. The world already feels pretty massive, and there's a lot of different upgrades and hidden treasures scattered throughout, so you really got to pay attention. And with the kind of isometric style camera, you do have to look around the corner and check and see if you're not missing a hidden wall here or there. But what I personally love is this whole Shrouded World. Think the dark world of Zelda: Link to the Past. I mean, it's a very similar world structure when you go to this Shrouded World. And it's obviously dark and shrouded with enemies that just kick your ass. Also, your health pool is completely operating on a different mechanic where you kind of lose your oomph with each hit. I really dig this mechanic, and it's cool how it helps you move and progress through the map. Different areas might be blocked off in one world, but then you switch to the other and you'll be able to move forward. It's a cool way to tie things together, but also I was just blown away the first time I went to the Shrouded World and just honestly got my ass kicked. Since this is such an early build, I'm not going to put too much into the narrative, as things might get changed or shuffled around with the final set of polish here. So what I will say is that you're essentially an outcast and you're trying to piece together what the heck's going on in the world and the Shrouded World around you. The combat itself is incredibly flexible and kind of plays kind of hack and slash. You can swing with everything from a light and snappy blade set for that kind of death by a thousand cuts playstyle to that heavy, crunchy sword that hits like a gigantic A-bomb. You know, it takes forever to wind up, but when it hits, it destroys, man. And I was able to find a bow set, which really helped with the range attack along with your multiple magic sets, but we'll get into that. This game kind of obsesses over player freedom, and that's a great thing when games do it well, and I gotta tell you, even in the early build, Second Stone does that. You're constantly picking up Rune Stones to slot into your weapons, armors, spells, and special attacks, and it really just drives home the play variety. The build variety here is just wild. You can stack so many elemental effects, spells, and status buffs across your gear that you practically end up looking like a mini Captain Planet or something, wielding dual swords and every elemental attack that you can think of, except for Heart. Seriously, what the hell was that power? I don't want to go all Doc Adams here, but I mean, Heart, they could have done anything. Let's move on. I just love how unrestricting every single aspect of your character can be. Everything can be tweaked, tuned, and upgraded, and it gives you just that absolute granular control over how you approach every single encounter. Now yes, this is a demo, and the tutorial was brief and to the point, but it got the point across. I do have to say that kind of carries over to the game. There's no annoying head sitting on your belt telling you exactly where to go and how to solve the next puzzle. One aspect of the game that I really enjoyed that also kind of forced me to really engage with the mechanics was the optional side quest for a Rogue-Lite dungeon crawl. There are multiple dungeons like this across the world, but essentially it's a mini little Rogue-Lite game wrapped inside of Second Stone. Instead of using all the awesome power-ups that you've acquired, it strips you down to your bare essentials of armor and weapons, and you earn those upgrades as you go through the roguelite journey. It's really kind of cool to kind of get almost 2 games in one, but you also earn incredible rewards to build your character outside of the dungeon. But like I mentioned, going through the roguelite runs forced me to really engage with the upgrade system. When I was in the normal world, I was just going through willy-nilly, grabbing whatever upgrades I could and just slotting them into whatever open slot was there. But when I did the roguelite runs, it forced me to come to grips with what's the most important slot, what kind of upgrades you need, and essentially how everything kind of works together. It wasn't a tutorial, but it was that forcing you to learn as you go, and it was just a lot of fun also. But again, that is totally optional, so people who are feeling maybe roguelites are running their course, well, you don't have to go through these runs, but they sure do make your character a lot stronger. Now, this is an early version of the game, so I'm not going to nitpick here. There's a lot going on, from the upgrade trees to the crazy elemental upgrades mixing with all your different armor and weapons, to the Shrouded World and this optional roguelite system. There's just a whole lot going on, and the ultimate test is just going to be how the game strikes the right balance. There's also a vast attention spectrum between the genres that they're going after here. With Jak and Daxter fans and Final Fantasy fans, the pacing for the overall story needs to strike the right balance to not lose too much attention from gamers who just want to move on to the next area. But ultimately, if you enjoyed that golden age of 3D platformers like Jak and Daxter, or maybe some more recent Ratchet and Clank, but you crave like more deep, thoughtful, material rune-slotted build customizations like that of Final Fantasy VII, this should be sitting at the absolute top of your wish list. It's early, so it needs time in the oven and a final layer of, buttery smooth polish. But the sheer amount of player freedom, the world scale, and this clever little roguelite twist makes Second Stone an absolute standout to keep your eye on. As of right now, PC is the only official landing spot for Second Stone, with releases across Steam, the Epic Games Store, and GOG. There's no official console announcement for PlayStation, Xbox, or the Switches, but given the game's heavy mascot platformer DNA and darn near full controller support already built in, I think that a console port wouldn't be out of question, so let's keep our eyes open for that. Hey, if you enjoyed this, hitting the like button and subscribing goes a long way towards us making more content. Hey, thanks for stopping by, folks. I'm the Dove, this is the Gamer Buff, and as always, game on.